After transmigrating into a vicious female supporting character in a campus novel, I find myself in an unexpected predicament. While everyone eagerly anticipates witnessing my defeat at the hands of the genuine heiress, my entire family seems to read my thoughts. Why do they all believe I would bully Shin Baidao? Is it that Qingbei has lost its allure, or that Harvard and Fudan have become less appealing? Campus bullying? Who? Me? Goodness. I am merely one step away from bowing down in reverence to the esteemed Wusan. Who is the nefarious individual spreading these rumors? I shall curse them to never gain admission to an undergraduate program. If I do not strive, who will? If I do not exert myself, who will? The hardships endured today shall pave the way for my superiority tomorrow. Initially, those who awaited my downfall exchanged glances in confusion, only to be compelled to join me, the embodiment of diligence, in an escalating competition. Ultimately, they all became addicted to the grind. One Shunlicheng, my dear elder sister, has returned. How dare you, the impostor who has usurped my place, continue to linger in my home? I always knew you were covetous of the Shun family's wealth. Upon opening my eyes, I was greeted by the sight of a handsome young boy gazing at me with mockery etched across his features. As I stood there, momentarily dazed, a torrent of narrative surged into my mind. Once I grasped the situation, clarity washed over me. As a relentless overachiever, I had devoted myself to my work until my untimely demise at my desk, succumbing to the pressures of competition. To my astonishment, I found myself reborn as the venomous antagonist in this tale of mistaken identities. In the original text, the false heiress, unwilling to accept her status, wreaked havoc upon the return of the true heiress, Shen Baidao, relying on the vestiges of affection from Shin father and Shin mother to engage in reckless behavior. Ultimately, her attempts to frame the true heiress and kidnap her led to her utter disdain from Lal, culminating in a tragic demise in a rented apartment, where even her corpse was retrieved by the police. How tragic. How utterly tragic. Do you see? This is the price one pays for neglecting their studies and losing clarity of thought. Contemplating that the original host was merely in her second year of high school, with abysmal grades, I could not help but shed tears. How could one end up like this in high school? What will become of her future? My younger brother, Shin Muxing, flushed with anger. How can you lecture me when your grades are worse than mine? Moreover, you're not even my real sister. So, what right do you have to speak to me like that? I paused, suddenly realizing that the boy's grades were just as dismal as the original host's, which deepened my sorrow. How could even my brother's grades be so poor? What kind of teachers are we employing? Shin Muxing gritted his teeth. Shunlicheng, have you lost your mind? I merely glanced at him, remaining silent. The original host had relied on the Shin family's safety net, squandering all her time on indulgence and revelry. But that could no longer be the case. Setting aside the fact that the true female lead had returned, the wretched grades alone stirred the heart of an overachiever within me. What could be more exhilarating than transforming from the bottom of the class to the top? With grades this dismal, what are you waiting for if not to study harder? Suffering today will pave the way for greatness tomorrow. If you don't push yourself, how will you ever know your true potential? I'm fired up. I shall reward myself with a set of exercises right now. I resolutely clenched my fist and promptly pulled out my phone to place an enthusiastic order. Shan Muxing stood there, astonished, stammering, Then, should I also do a set? I regarded him approvingly. Young man, you have discernment. 2. Just as Shin Muxing was questioning himself, Shen Baidao was brought home by our elder brother. Upon noticing my presence, her eyes immediately welled with tears. Dressed in a faded dress that had seen better days, her fragile form resembled a butterfly in autumn, exuding an ethereal, delicate aura. You must be my sister Licheng, right? I apologize for intruding. If you dislike me, I can leave right now. Her voice dwindled with each word, her expression imbued with timidity and caution. Shun Baidao, raised by parents who favored boys over girls, often faced physical and verbal abuse, leading her to develop a people-pleasing personality. Shen Muxing, overwhelmed with sympathy, discarded his peculiar thoughts and rushed to console her.
How could that be?
You are the true heiress of the Shin family. This is your home, and you can do as you please. No one dares to criticize you. He shot me a warning glance, but I paid it no mind. Well versed in the narrative, I recognized Shin Baitao as a pitiable soul and was about to extend a warm greeting when she recoiled in fear, retreating a step and hiding behind our elder brother. Shun Muxing took 2 steps forward, looking down at me with barely concealed disdain. What do you intend to do? I warn you. If you dare to lay a hand on her, I won't hold back. I blinked in disappointment, withdrawing my outstretched hand. Poor thing. How much suffering has she endured at home? Transitioning to a new environment, her studies will likely fall behind. Once she transfers to a new school next week, won't she struggle even more? Nevertheless, it matters not. There remains over a year until the college entrance examination, and with diligence, no obstacle is insurmountable. Shun Muxing's face again contorted with an indescribable expression, and even Shun Baitao's countenance grew tense. She gazed at me uncertainly, unable to discern if my demeanor was genuine or a performance. At that moment, our elder brother, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. His gaze directed at me with a frosty demeanor. Are you done causing a scene? Aren't you embarrassed? You never put in any effort, and now you're putting on an act for whom? Upon scrutinizing the imposing figure of my elder brother, I recalled the narrative, realizing he was not only the acting president of the Shun Group, but also a PhD graduate from an Ivy League institution. In an instant, my gaze toward him ignited with fervor. Not embarrassing at all. Having such a scholarly brother is a blessing. Brother, from this day forth, you are my true brother. I shall call you brother, and you must guide me diligently in physics and chemistry. My brother's expression shifted, appearing somewhat uncomfortable, his lips twitching slightly. However, your desire to improve is commendable. As long as you remain compliant, the Shun family will not cast you aside. I nodded enthusiastically, my heart swelling with joy. I never expected my brother to value me so highly. It warms my heart. I must hurry and tackle a couple of exercises. Today, a small step in studying. Tomorrow, a giant leap toward the college entrance examination. 3. In the original narrative, the former host was so enraged by the Shun family's decision to welcome back Shun Baitao that she took a half-month leave. This was a fortuitous opportunity. Having harbored regrets from my past life for not gaining admission to my desired university, I threw myself into my studies upon arriving here. While others began their nightlife at 10, I had already completed a set of exercises. After stretching my stiff neck from prolonged sitting, I opened my door to head downstairs for a drink. Just as I reached the staircase, I overheard Shun Baitao's despondent voice emanating from the living room. Does my sister dislike me? Why has she remained in her room since I returned, even having meals sent to her by the maid? Following that was my so-called mother's gentle voice. That's just how she is. Don't take it to heart, Taozi. In a couple of days, she'll come around. Shun Baitao's anxiety was palpable, her voice tinged with fear. But my sister is so exceptional, and I am utterly inept, Mom. Perhaps you should send me back. You must have made a mistake. How could I possibly be a child of the Shun family? Child, the paternity test has confirmed it. How could I be mistaken? You are my biological daughter, and I could never bear to send you back into the fire. My mother spoke with reprimand, yet her words brimmed with tenderness. Shun Muxing nodded vigorously. Exactly. If anyone should go back, it should be that insane woman Shun Liqing. Muxing, Liqing is also your sister. She is not. As the impending conflict threatened to embroil me, I stealthily turned to retreat to my room. To my dismay, sister? Shun Baitao's alarmed voice froze me in place. Meeting the gaze of those in the living room, I awkwardly smiled. Good evening. I was just passing by. Please carry on. Oh, how mortifying. Had I known, I would have preferred to remain in my room, poring over my exercises. Shun Jiaojiao appeared panicked, already feeling unworthy of being there, and now she seemed utterly restless. Her eyes misting over. She attempted to rise, only to be firmly pressed back down by Shun Muxing, whose face shifted from concern to sheer loathing as he turned toward me. Since you've heard everything, why don't you just leave? I have no sister as scheming as you. As I reflected on the actions of the original host, I nodded in agreement. Very well. I shall return to my room to tackle the papers. You are right, but I merely wish to come down for a drink of water. I still have not fully grasped the analysis of that recent college entrance examination question. It truly is quite challenging. I wonder if Brother Ivy can comprehend it. Almost instantaneously, all gazes converged upon the elder brother seated in the corner, engrossed in his work. He flinched slightly, silently closing his laptop. Studying so late? There is no need to engage in such antics merely to attract attention. What does he mean by still? This is indeed a prime time for study. I felt a surge of irritation, my admiration for my brother's scholarly image quickly dissipating. I think it's quite all right, and besides, I have come out, haven't I?
Oh.
So you are busy with your work and yet deny me the opportunity to study? Do you intend to secretly excel and astonish me? I refuse to allow that. I shall study too. The elder brother choked on his own words, pushing his laptop a little further away. Studying requires a balance of work and rest. Are you not feeling fatigued? I nodded vigorously. Indeed, I am exhausted. I can hardly learn anything. At your age, you dare to claim exhaustion? How audacious. He fell silent for a moment, his gaze towards me taking on a subtle nuance. I see. I was about to suggest that if you encounter difficulties, you could always ask me for help. Such a fortunate offer. My face brightened instantly, my attitude shifting dramatically. Not tired at all. It was Shen Muxing who mentioned it. I did not say such a thing.
Shen Muxing, 6 kwietnia.
With my elder brother's guidance, my grades soared. Before long, half a month had passed, and I returned to my class. My mother noticed the transformation in me during this period and decided to transfer Shen Bai Tao into my class. When Shen Bai Tao made her entrance, the previously bustling classroom fell into an immediate hush. After a brief self-introduction, Shen Bai Tao approached me with a flushed face. Sister, may I sit beside you? The original host had a rather domineering personality and did not permit anyone to sit close, hence the seat next to me had always remained vacant. I was preoccupied with solving problems and did not lift my head. Suit yourself. Shen Bai Tao assumed I was unwilling to engage with her, and her face paled instantly. Just as she hesitated whether to take a seat, a brazen voice interrupted from the side. TSK, TSK, TSK. Some people aren't even genuine in their identities and yet dare to act all high and mighty here. Who do they think they are? Still believing themselves to be the lofty heiress they once were? The raucous voice disrupted my concentration, prompting me to finally look up. You are correct. However, Uruguay has a population of 57 million, while Australia alone boasts 47 million kangaroos. If the kangaroos were to invade Uruguay, each Uruguayan would have to confront 14 kangaroos. You are oblivious to this. You do not care. You are solely concerned with yourself. The voice's owner?
Shen Bai Tao.
Onlookers 6. The girl quickly regained her composure, her gaze towards me filled with even greater animosity. Pretending to be foolish won't help. I shall see how long you can remain in the Shen household. It was evident that this girl harbored a poor relationship with the original host, but fortunately, I had no time to entertain her. After delivering her threat, she strutted away in a haughty manner. At that moment, I noticed Shen Bai Tao standing beside me and promptly invited her to sit down. Why don't you find a place to sit? Here, I have an extra chair. If you don't mind, you can take this one. I was so engrossed in my studies that I hadn't noticed her. Surely, she wouldn't stand there indefinitely.
Would she?
That simply cannot happen. This is a crucial period for studying. How can one prepare for university without diligent revision? Shen Bai Tao exhaled deeply and settled beside me. 5. Shen Bai Tao appeared to be in great distress. Although we were both in our second year of high school, the efficiency at an elite school far exceeded that of an ordinary middle school. Despite her previous high rankings, she found herself lost in this new environment. As I glanced up, I caught sight of the confusion and anguish etched on her face. After a moment's contemplation, I generously offered her my meticulously organized notes. Upon seeing my well-filled notebook, she was taken aback. Sister, how did you manage to write so much? I shrugged nonchalantly. A good memory is inferior to a poor pen. Writing down key points helps retain information more effectively. Here, take these and have a look. How can one solve problems without a solid foundation? Shen Bai Tao appeared somewhat flustered, hesitantly speaking. But sister, don't you think, enough with the buts. I need to focus on the lesson, I interrupted, turning my attention back to the blackboard. It's merely a small gesture. Such materials can easily be found online. What is there to hesitate about? One would be better off solving a couple more problems in that time. Shen Bai Tao fell silent, casting a deep glance in my direction as she gently cradled the notebook to her chest. 6. For some inexplicable reason, while I was wholly absorbed in my studies, rumors began to circulate that I was bullying Shen Bai Tao. By the time I became aware of it, the rumors had escalated to the claim that Shen Bai Tao was at my beck and call, unable to retaliate or speak up. 6. I glanced at Shen Bai Tao beside me, finding it difficult to articulate my thoughts. This sweet, delicate girl, how could I possibly bully her? It must be an act. Shen Bai Tao looked equally bewildered. Holding a small cake in her hand, she smiled at me shyly. Sister, this is freshly made by Auntie. Here for you. Alternatively, it seemed she was inherently shy and struggled to communicate with outsiders, a trait fostered by her family dynamics, rendering her cautious around strangers. Thus, at school, aside from our brief exchanges, she remained largely ignored by others. Even after spending considerable time at the Shun household, she still blushed upon encountering Shun Muxing.
Furthermore,
I recalled that bullying was not supposed to commence until later in the plot, when the original host had completely descended into madness, mercilessly tormenting Shen Bai Tao. With her accommodating personality, Shen Bai Tao would never speak up to her family, and it was only when the abuse landed her in the hospital that the Shin family became aware of the situation. Yet, as fate would have it, what one fears often comes to pass. Just as I reached out to accept the small cake, Shin Muxing appeared before her, forcefully swatting my hand away with an alarming ferocity.
Shen Luking.
You truly are something else. How dare you bully Sister Taozi? Just watch as I throw you out of the Shun household today. I rubbed my hand, feeling somewhat exasperated. Failing in your studies is one thing, but your eyesight seems to be lacking as well. Which eye saw me mistreating Taozi? Perhaps you could donate that useless eye. Shen Muxing was so enraged that he began to stomp his feet. Who are you calling blind? If you weren't bullying Sister Taozi, how could such rumors circulate outside? I was perplexed. I never uttered a word. How did he know I was scolding him? Glancing at his flushed face, I smiled politely. Perhaps it is because I am too exceptional. Those who excel often attract envy. Very well, so you claim I am a bully? I might as well be sworn brothers with the likes of Wu San, and yet they dare to label me a bully? I curse you to fail your undergraduate entrance exams. Shen Muxing's eyes reddened. You dare wish for me to fail my undergraduate exams? You have a heart of stone. Today, it is either you or I who shall perish. No matter how Shen Bai Tao tried to pull him back, Shen Muxing was determined to confront me. At that moment, thud. The elder brother suddenly appeared behind him, knocking him unconscious. As he departed, he hesitated for a moment, casting a quick glance in my direction. I am not secretly working. You must believe me. I fell silent for a moment. Do you think I believe you?
7.
Due to the rampant rumors circulating in the school, shortly after my return, I was notified of my suspension. Shen Bai Tao, already lacking in verbal skills, found it impossible to clarify matters at school, further exacerbating the ferocity of the rumors. Upon returning home, I noticed the little girl looking at me with tears welling in her eyes. Yes, I apologize. It is entirely my fault that you have been subjected to such scorn from so many. My clumsy tongue has spoken ill of you. Shen Bai Tao's nose and eyes were flushed, her once vibrant, doe-like eyes now swollen and red from tears, resembling a goldfish's. I sighed softly and tenderly wiped away her tears with a tissue. Do not cry, you have already exerted yourself immensely. Those people are not worth your tears. In the original narrative, everyone merely brought her back, with no one truly caring about the feelings of this young girl. After all, she was but a 16-year-old girl. Having never received the affection of her adoptive parents, she was informed upon reaching an age of understanding that she was not their biological child. Returning to her birth parents, she found no genuine concern for her well-being. The innate grace of the false heiress left her feeling anxious and inferior, so even when bullied, she merely forced a smile, insisting it was nothing. Her biological parents were deceived, while the false heiress harbored jealousy towards her, leading to brutal bullying and mistreatment. Thus, everything fell into a vicious cycle. But can she truly be blamed for any of this? The author seemingly crafted the tale of the true and false heiresses, deliberately portraying the false one as exceedingly malicious, while the protagonist is portrayed as exceptionally kind, seeking to appease her tormentors. Yet, what is the essence of this narrative?
To me,
it appears that the author is merely pandering to male sensibilities. The protagonist suffers such indignities, all to facilitate the male lead's redemption. This ostensibly sweet narrative, under the guise of salvation, paints the protagonist's plight in such sorrowful tones, merely to lay the groundwork for the male lead. When the false heiress was cast aside by everyone, the protagonist had only just returned home for 6 months. Upon returning to school after a year of absence, She was horrified to find herself unable to focus on her studies. Her talent had been obliterated, and even encountering strangers caused her to tremble uncontrollably, except for the male lead. He was the gentle boy who had once offered her a meal in her childhood, a small act of kindness that she had etched in her heart. In her current state of isolation, he was the only one who did not reject her. It was not long before Shun Baitao fell for him. Ultimately, under his sweet words, she married him before even completing her studies at a mediocre university, and soon after, she was blessed with triplets, living a seemingly blissful life. She even entrusted all her shares in the Shun family to him, content to remain at home as a devoted wife. Yet, Shun Baitao had the potential to attend a prestigious university. To ensure her complete submission to the male lead, the author clipped her wings and confined her in a gilded cage, treating her as a canary for others to admire. Why should you, a woman, strive outside? Just remain at home, beautiful and charming. I will provide for you. Although under the protection of the Shun family, Shun Baitao's life would not be too miserable. But could the Shun family truly provide perpetual protection? Completely surrendering oneself to another is, in its own right, a form of tragic imprisonment. I gently patted her head and held the tearful girl close. It's all right. From now on, just watch me. It is not right to shoulder all the blame alone. You were never at fault. Why must you blame yourself? Initially, I was indifferent to the rumors. After all, I had experienced similar trials in my past life. And with the Shin family shielding me now, I felt no substantial harm. I chose to act as if I had not heard them. However, seeing Shun Baitao so distressed stirred my resolve. I would not let that cowardly rat, who dared to speak ill of me from the shadows, escape unscathed. I scoured the campus network and traced the first anonymous slander. Technically, I had no right to access personal information on the campus network. But I was backed by the Shin family, and the wealth of Jiangqing's richest was no laughing matter. Soon, I uncovered the name of the rumormonger. Gazing at the unfamiliar girl before me, I racked my brain to recall the plot until I unearthed some details. It turned out that this girl was a follower of the arrogant girl who had previously confronted me in class. Furthermore, I discovered an even more intriguing fact. This girl was the sister of the male lead, Lu Qingyang. The siblings were fraternal twins, resembling each other little. Moreover, Lu Qingyang transferred to the school only after the original protagonist's demise, making it understandable that he had no recollection of her. Oh dear. I hadn't even sought him out, and he had come knocking at my door. Looking at the photograph of the gentle-faced boy on my phone, I expressionlessly set it down. One should not dwell too long on filth, lest one catch a needle's eye. With evidence in hand, I stormed into the classroom of Lu Qingyan, the aforementioned girl. The boisterous classroom fell silent for a moment upon my entrance, only to erupt into even louder chaos. Heavens! How dare this bully show her face at school? Bah! Shameless! School bullies deserve to perish. Lu Qingyan seemed quite pleased with the commotion, looking at me with smug satisfaction. Miss Shen, you actually dare to return to school? Why should I not? The slanderers are still here, and I have done nothing wrong. Why should I be afraid? I replied with a cold laugh, pulling a stack of papers from my bag and slapping them on the desk. Do you really think I wouldn't dare to investigate? Or do you believe you've covered your tracks so well that I wouldn't uncover the truth? What do you mean? Lu Qingyan's heart sank as she trembled while taking one of the papers. Upon seeing the ID printed on it, her face paled, though she struggled to maintain her composure. That's not my ID. How dare you throw dirt on my name? School bullying is one thing, but now you want to slander me? I found her feeble arguments irritating and tossed the evidence into the air. Instead of wasting time arguing with her, I would rather spend that time studying. Come now. Isn't this girl just your little lackey? If you had her spread such rumors, I could easily shift the blame onto her. Lu Qingyan, you certainly know how to play your cards. Just remember, even if I am not the true heiress of the Shin family, they will never allow me to suffer in silence. As the scattered papers fell, I caught sight of her ashen face. With my revelations, the rumors of my bullying Shun Baitao were swiftly dismantled. Shun Baitao appeared to have matured significantly following this incident, and once she adapted to the school's pace, her grade soared. She achieved the top rank in the final exams. Seeing her name atop the rankings, I felt a pang of frustration as I ground my teeth. The protagonist is indeed remarkable. Well, that is undeniable. Oh dear, my top spot has vanished.
Ha ha ha.
I told you, there's no way you could outscore Sister Tao. Shun Muxing chimed in, arriving just in time to mock me. I shot him a glare and retorted without hesitation, oh please, don't think I don't know. You ranked among the bottom 10. Those at the bottom have no right to ridicule me. Shun Muxing was taken aback. Why are you making personal attacks? Perhaps it was truly because of the comparative perspective. Despite my relentless efforts, I barely managed to land in the top 20. I could not compete with a prodigy like Shun Baitao. Yet, that did not mean I would give up. Come on, pressure only serves to fuel motivation. Gazing at the glaring rankings, my eyes sparkled with determination. Shun Baitao, just wait. I will surpass you next time. At that moment, Shun Baitao no longer appeared timid. A radiant smile blossomed on her lovely face. All right, I'll be waiting. With just 2 months until our senior year, Shun Baitao and I exchanged smiles, gearing up for the most pivotal moment of our lives. After a summer of complete relaxation, I set aside my playful spirit, resolving to confront the upcoming year with greater seriousness. In colloquial terms, it was time to get serious about studying. As I diligently immersed myself in my studies alongside Shun Baitao, the long-forgotten male lead, Lu Qingyang, finally made his tardy appearance. He was originally meant to arrive on the first day of the senior year, but due to the uproar surrounding the rumors that plagued me, he had been delayed for a month. Although no concrete evidence pointed to Lu Qingyan as the instigator, all signs indicated her as the sole suspect.
Consequently,
after finishing the second year, Lu Qingyan obstinately refused to return to school. As I caught a glimpse of Lu Qingyang's gaze, tinged with a hint of resentment, I averted my eyes momentarily. This was not my concern. I was merely a diligent student striving for excellence. Nevertheless, it must be said that Lu Qingyang, as the male lead, possessed a strikingly handsome appearance. Merely standing there, he radiated the aura of a refreshing youth. His eyes seemed capable of ensnaring one's very soul. A mere half-second of eye contact would render anyone irresistibly drawn to him. The girls in our class instantaneously flushed with excitement, except for Shun Baitao and me. He approached me directly, and just as Shun Baitao furrowed her brow, preparing to interrupt his advance, Lu Qingyang unexpectedly turned to her and beamed a dazzling smile.
long time no see, shout out.
A collective gasp echoed through the classroom. All eyes turned to Shun Baitao in astonishment. Despite her newfound ability to interact normally with classmates, she could not suppress the flustered expression that overtook her. Who are you? Do we know each other? I remained expressionless, stifling a chuckle. Indeed, it was the same old routine. The original story unfolded in a far more tragic manner for Shun Baitao. The remnants of her bullying left her too fearful to engage with others, and her classmates distanced themselves due to the malicious gossip that circulated. Lu Qingyang had transferred on the very first day of school, extending a hand to her when everyone else had shunned her, as if he were a divine savior rescuing her from the depths of despair. Shun Baitao failed to recognize him as the boy from years past. She merely felt warmth radiating from his smile and found herself inexplicably drawn to him. Desperate for affection, she plunged headfirst into this unexpected connection. Lu Qingyang's remarkable looks attracted a multitude of admirers, who would later become the antagonistic female characters vying for his attention. Time and again, he would rescue Shun Baitao from dire situations, drawing applause from readers who found the unfolding romance exceedingly sweet. However, I could not afford to dwell on these thoughts. My fists clenched in frustration. The plot had already spiraled into an unwatchable mess, yet the allure of the male and female leads remained undeniable. Lu Qingyang seemed unfazed by her failure to recognize him, smiling gently at her words. Perhaps I mistook you for someone else. You resemble a younger sister I once knew. Shun Baitao, appearing thoroughly annoyed, pressed against me as if seeking refuge. Are you insane? I don't know, you, stop being so weird. Lu Qingyang's smile faltered slightly. I mean no offense. I simply wish to get to know you. Shun Baitao rolled her eyes in exasperation. You're delusional. Don't drag me into your early romance. I'm the top student, and I won't be held responsible if you can't get into Qingbei. Our homeroom teacher, who had been enjoying the spectacle, immediately lost his composure upon hearing Lu Qingyang intended to pursue a relationship with a top student. He hurriedly stepped forward, forcibly ushering Lu Qingyang to an empty seat.
Ah.
Qingyang, there's a spot here. The timing is crucial. You must keep your focus. As Lu Qingyang sat, his expression turned to one of disillusionment, questioning his life choices. Despite the unfortunate start to their reunion, Lu Qingyang continued to pursue Shin Baidao. Whether by chance encounters at corners or shared smiles on the playground, he seemed determined to insert himself into her life, even sending an unending supply of milk bread through her desk. After yet another appearance of this persistent snack, Shin Baidao's face twisted in disbelief. Is he out of his mind? Who sends the same milk bread for half a month? Perhaps he ordered an entire case to deliver slowly, I chuckled, tossing the items to Lu Qingyang's desk mate, only to meet Shin Baidao's woeful gaze. Sister, I'm utterly exhausted. Can't he find something better to do? If nothing else, he should at least solve a few more practice papers instead of pestering me. I shrugged innocently. Who can blame him for being fixated on you? Suddenly enlightened, Shin Baidao looked up. What? He asked the boy who brought me that meal back then? I was taken aback. I had almost forgotten she remembered it so vividly. He probably heard you're the true heiress of the Shin family and is eager to curry favor. After all, even a small favor from the Shin family could sustain the Lu family for a lifetime. Shin Baidao fell silent, her gaze distant. Realizing Lu Qingyang's intentions were directed at her, Shin Baidao could not allow him to continue unabated. Perhaps remnants of kindness lingered for the boy who had once offered her assistance in a dark world. She arranged to meet him by the lakeside outside the school. As for my knowledge of this rendezvous, it stemmed from my concern for Shin Baidao amid the lurking presence of this dubious man. I stealthily concealed myself behind some rocks, clutching my phone and a stun baton tightly, ready to intervene. If he dares to make a move, I will take him down. I couldn't shake the feeling that Shin Baidao appeared somewhat tense. Lu Qingyang arrived late, and upon confirming that she indeed remembered him, he launched into a speech filled with insincere emotion. Xiao Tao, all these years, you've been on my mind. I think of you constantly. I never expected fate to reunite us. What nonsense. If you truly cared, why did you leave her in the clutches of despair? Shin Baidao remained silent. Lu Qingyang continued, perhaps this is destiny. I can't believe 10 years have passed, and we meet again. Destined, you say? How audacious. I nearly burst with disbelief, rolling my eyes skyward. Unaware of my thoughts, Lu Qingyang attempted to say more, but Shin Baidao, visibly annoyed, interrupted him. Wait, I don't want to hear your drivel. Seeing through his facade, she discerned the greed lurking behind his gaze. Severing the last threads of her goodwill, she lowered her eyes and spoke decisively. If your intention is to speak of the debt from 10 years ago, I can represent the Shin family to grant you a modest request. However, if you seek anything more, I regret to inform you that I will not offer even a fraction of that past kindness. Lu Qingyang's face froze. Xiao Dao, what are you saying? I'm not enough. I'm not a child anymore. How long do you intend to keep up this charade? Shin Baidao coldly interrupted, her disappointment palpable. Time has indeed changed a person. Let us pretend we have never met. Do you truly believe entering the Shin family grants you the status of a young lady? I spit on that. Were it not for me, you would have perished years ago. The pretense shattered, Lu Qingyang's facade crumbled. His expression twisted into one of rage as he lunged toward Shin Baidao. You think a few words can dismiss my kindness? Dream on. With no one around. Once I have my way with you, I'll become the son-in-law of the Shin family and have everything I desire. Shin Baidao, already wary, evaded his advance. Before he could turn around, I descended from my hiding place, swinging the stun baton. Do not dare to make a scene here. I will deliver justice on behalf of the heavens. As I watched Lu Qingyang being taken away by the police, still unwilling to concede, Shin Baidao tightened her embrace around me. Just when I thought she might be frightened and was about to offer her some comforting words, I heard a muffled voice. Sister, please refrain from secretly cursing in your heart. I can hear you. I was taken aback. What was this peculiar dialect? It sounded so familiar, akin to Mandarin. I was terrified, incredulous, and crawling in a frenzy. So, everything I have been thinking all along, you are aware of it. What the heck? Shin Baidao chuckled softly, looking at me with a hint of mischief. It's all right, sister. I'm quite accustomed to it. I felt a strange chill wash over me. A peculiar sense of comfort. What was this sensation? Oh, it dawned on me. I had passed away. Since the incident with Lu Qingyang, Shin Baidao and I were strictly forbidden from visiting secluded places. However, we hardly had the time for such excursions. The Gaokao was approaching, and I soon dismissed the troubling thought of my innermost feelings being heard. I devoted all my time to preparing for the impending examination. 300 days left. 200 days left. 100 days left. 3 days remaining. 2 days remaining. As the examination drew near, the Shun family braced themselves for the challenge. My elder brother dedicated a month to help Shin Baitao and me with our revision, while my mother concocted an array of nourishing soups for us daily. Even my father, who usually seemed elusive, made a solemn appearance on the final day to welcome us home for the Gaokao. Even Shun Muxing, who typically treated me dismissively, awkwardly handed me a bouquet of sunflowers as I exited the examination room. Though you're not the best, I won't say much on such an important day. Regardless of your performance, the Shun family can still support you. I accepted the flowers with a smile. Thank you. Our eyes met, and Shun Baitao and I exchanged a knowing smile. From that moment on, the sky was vast and free for us, and we would embark on our own fresh journeys. Shun Baitao's epilogue. On the night Lu Qingyang was taken to the police station, Shun Baitao had a dream. The world in her dream was starkly opposed to her current reality. She heard none of Shun Liqing's thoughts. Instead, she endured various forms of humiliation and torment at her hands. Yet, she still foolishly sought to appease her, hoping that in light of her suffering, Shun Liqing would show her mercy. But mercy was not forthcoming. On the contrary, Shun Liqing intensified her cruelty. Even within the confines of her dreams, Shun Baitao felt the depth of her despair. It wasn't until Shun Liqing's mistreatment was discovered and her parents, outraged, expelled her from the Shun family, that they seemed to realize something was amiss. But what good was that? She had long since lost all hope for life. Even after a year of recovery, she still couldn't grasp anything. Yet, her academic achievements had once been her pride. Just when she felt utterly despondent and lost, Lu Qingyang appeared beside her like a deity. With a mere offering of his affection, she would humbly grovel before him, devoid of dignity. Shun Baitao yearned to intervene. She wanted to warn her dream self that all of this was a ruse. Yet, she despaired to find herself unable to utter a word, forced to watch her dream self sink deeper into the quagmire, self-deceivingly believing she was happy. How could one be happy without a sense of self? Shun Baitao awoke with a start, her heart racing. Familiar surroundings greeted her, and she hurried to Shun Liqing's room. Just as she had suspected, the academic overachiever was still awake. After a moment's hesitation, she asked a question unrelated to her dream. Do you dislike me? Shun Liqing looked surprised. Why would I? What reason do I have to dislike you? Oh, dear. Could it be that Lu Qingyang has frightened the poor child? I must speak with my brother about this. With the weather turning, the Lu family is bound to face ruin. Listening to the familiar whispers around her, Shun Baitao smiled, pressing her lips together. It didn't matter. What was important was that her sister was fond of her now. The end. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again in the next story.